You believe in 3 gods.
Okay, prove it. That's an assertion. Give me an argument, Dean.
I mean, can you pass me 1 Quran down there? How many Qurans would you bring?
3. You're not gonna see the whole conversation.
Essence is the whatness. The person or the particular is the who-ness.
I do agree with that. I'm more than happy to listen. Listen, brother.
We're still
I'm more than happy to listen.
How many essences are we? How many book natures are there? How many particulars are here?
I don't know exactly.
How many particular books are here?
I don't know exactly.
You don't know. You don't know. He doesn't know how many books are here.
I would say there are 3 separate books.
1, 2, 3. Did you count by the universal or the essence, or did you count by the particular?
I count by the particular.
How many males are here right now? Would you say there is 1 male or 3 males?
3 males.
Beautiful, because we counted by the particular. So everyone can see you're not answering the question. Go.
Giving me 10 seconds. If you don't stop cutting me off, then I'm going to find a new conversation. Right?
You want to find
and everyone. I would say that if we had 3 separate essences, then that would be 3 gods. But
you agree that the Trinity consists of an essence and 3 persons, right?
Yes. They're trying to catch Christians out. I didn't prepare for a debate on the Trinity, and I think it's embarrassing. I've come here, I had prepared for a debate on the Trinity, but what about this? Okay. So is each one of these a particular?
That's a brick, mate.
Yeah.
So everything that we know of is counted by the particular.
I don't agree with that.
And this would be a particular, an individual of the essence. Do you get it now? Because you're going to see when you go home, you do not count anything by the essence. Because if I said to you, bring me a watermelon, you're not going to bring me all the watermelons. You're going to bring me 1 watermelon. You're not going to bring the essence of watermelon, you're going to bring a particular. So now that we've established that we count everything by the particular, alright, the particular. And your Trinity consists of particulars. If we were to count how many gods are in the Trinity, using the usual counting method, how many gods would we count? Look at this, guys. Debunked in 2 seconds. I want you to read that.
I had no preparation.
Sure. You don't need to be prepared for this. This is basic. I'll give you the easiest question.
So, come to my church. We do free courses on critical thinking. You can come learn about logical fallacies. I'm not even trying to be rude, bro. You can literally come learn about how ridiculous that is.
Name the 3 laws of logic. Go.
Bro.
3 laws of logic.
The law of non-contradiction. There are other ones.
Go right, answer it. You talk about logic in your church. Name the 3 laws of logic.
He's running.
No, you can't answer it. Name the 3 laws of logic. Name the 3 laws of logic. Name the 3 laws of logic. I can answer it like that. No, you don't. Sure, you don't have to believe it. Sure, I'm not saying you have to believe it, Stephen. 1 human essences. 2 human beings. 1 God essence. I want you to explain to the camera how I'm using a false equivalence. When I'm comparing essences and particulars to essences and particulars. Stephen, we understand that we count everything by the particular, right?
Yes.
We count everything by the particular. Now, if we were to use that,
I don't believe we count everything by the particular. That's our disagreement.
This guy's low IQ, bro. Oh my god.
We'll see what
you don't have to believe it, bro. It's such a simple question, bro. I already told you.
No.
There is nothing in this universe that we count by the essence. That's literally it, bro. So tell me why we have to count God by the essence.
He's got his glasses off. He told me
it's not recording
before.
It's not recording.
He's got these slick Ray-Ban glasses.
You
I
ready?
have to get myself some of those so we can do some recording.
Cool.
I'm here with the Muslims. They're a little. Some of them are a little.
Hold up. So you copy us with the cameras, and then you got to copy us with the Ray-Bans.
Where did I copy?
Let's go.
Where did I copy with the cameras?
You never brought cameras until we did.
No, I've started recording since I started doing
street. In the street?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Sure. Okay. Sure.
What's your name again?
My name's Dean.
All right, Dean. Let's go.
Oh wait. Are you recording? Okay. You believe in 3 gods.
False.
100% you believe in 3 gods.
Okay, prove it. That's an assertion. Give me an argument, Dean.
Okay, tell me if I'm explaining the Trinity correctly. Alright, tell me if I've got it wrong. So you believe in 3 distinct persons, 1 essence, and the persons are not each other, but they are all equal. And they are all eternal, correct? Correct? Did I get anything wrong?
Good.
According to that, that's 3 gods. Ready? Look, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Is the Father the Son?
They're distinct.
Hold up, no. Is the Father the Son?
Hang on.
Is the Father the Son?
Let me answer your first question.
No.
You're not gonna see the whole conversation. I'm more than happy to listen. Listen, brother. I'm more than happy to listen. You gotta let me respond.
Okay, go.
You gotta let me respond. So you made 1 point. Let me make a response. Then you can ask me another question.
Go.
All right. You're a bit irritating.
Okay, just go.
You get all jumpy and you start talking over me. So they are 3 distinct persons, but they're not separable, and they're all God because they all share 1 essence, making them 1 God. That's our definition.
Okay, so
explain how they're 3 separate gods.
So what is your method of counting when you count there is only 1 God? What is your counting method?
Based on the essence.
So you count by the universal, essentially. The essence is the universal.
I've never heard that.
The universal? The universal. Like,
I'm not Orthodox, bro. Protestants, we don't use that language.
No, every Christian uses this language.
No, they don't.
You already embarrassed yourself. Now, the essence is the universal. Ready? universal means what something is. Would you agree with that's what the essence is?
Well, I want to get back to your point that every Christian uses that language. Can you prove that to me?
Don't change topic. Fine. Not every Christian uses it.
Thank you.
Don't use it. Sure. Whatever. Whatever.
Continue.
Okay. So, what counting method are you using? You can by the essence or the particular or the person. Whatever
I'm
you want to
telling
call
you, I just said the essence.
Okay. Beautiful. Now, so we count that by the essence. Now, how many essences are we?
How many essences do we have?
Yeah. How many human essences do we have? Human natures.
It's a good question. I would say. Well, it depends
obvious.
how you define a human nature. Can you explain how do you define a human
Tell me
nature?
if my definition of essence is correct. An essence is what something is.
I agree with that.
Beautiful. How many whatnesses are we?
That makes us a human.
Yep. Do you want me to give you the
To
answer?
be honest, I haven't looked into this. I
How many
would say
whatnesses?
this. I would say we have
one human nature.
We
Well,
have
one human nature.
I would agree with that.
Yes, and we're two separate persons. I forgot your name, by the way.
Stephen.
Stephen, and I'm Dean.
Yeah, we are two separate persons.
Yes, so
I
one
agree.
essence, two persons, correct? It's not a hard question.
We share an essence. I don't know if we share an essence the same way God shares an essence. Though. That's what I'm taking.
we're talking about-
I haven't thought about this, but I have to have a discussion with you as the thoughts are occurring to me. So
Okay,
that's my
I'll make it very simple for you. We have 3 books here, okay?
They're separate books, though.
How
we
many-
don't believe
okay.
God's separate.
Can I finish?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, I've got 3 books right here, okay? How many book natures are there?
How many essences of what a book is?
Yeah, how many
what makes a
witnesses
book?
are here?
Of the books? Off the top of my head, I would say there's one.
Beautiful. There is 1 book, okay? And how many particulars are here?
What do you mean by particulars? Can you define the term you're using?
Particular is an individual identity. How many individual
Individual
here.
identities.
It's very simple, bro. You're looking at it.
Well, look, the problem
1,
is
2, 3.
What I'm saying is that he's drawing a false equivalence. Do you want me to talk now? Because I can answer your questions, but then you're gonna
No.
let me talk. So do you want to talk now, or do you want me to talk?
It's a simple question. How many particulars are
I
here?
don't know exactly.
How many particular books are here?
I don't know exactly.
You don't know. You don't know. He doesn't know how many books are here.
I would say there are 3
hold on.
separate books.
1, 2, 3. That's it, bro.
There are 3 separate books, but you're saying what are the particulars, and I don't understand exactly what the particulars.
I'm asking you basic
means
questions right
as
now.
a philosophical concept, so it's difficult for me to answer. But
Individual identities. Boom.
How many individual identities of the books? Well, if you're talking about the book's nature, I don't know whether or not there is something that is kind of applicable to all books. Like you guys know Plato, right? Plato has the forms. Plato has. You might be shaking your head. You've asked a very complicated question
It's
about
not.
the
How many
nature.
particular books are
You're
here?
asking about ontology and essence.
Where did I say ontology?
You're asking me about what makes something what it is.
Okay.
You're asking me
Yep.
about nature, right? So ontology has to do with being. We're
Okay, I'll
talking about
break
the
it very
ontology of
simple
God.
for you. Would you agree with this definition I'm about to give? It's a very simple definition. A particular or a person is the who-ness of something.
A particular or a person is the who-ness.
So the essence is the whatness. The person or the particular is the who-ness.
I do agree with that.
Beautiful. How many who-nesses are right here?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how it carries across the book. I gotta be honest. Like, look, he's just looking at me like.
That's crazy.
So how many particulars are there?
How many
You
particular
have 3
books are here?
separate books.
1 book nature. How many particular
Okay.
books?
3. You've
Okay.
got 3 particular books. But please hurry up with your point. Everyone can see
Okay.
where you're going with this, and I want to respond. I've
Okay,
already got
beautiful.
my response ready. So
No,
be
no,
quick,
I
be
think,
quick.
I think the point he's trying to make is
No,
Come in,
don't
come
worry
in,
about
come
it.
in,
Don't worry about it. He wants you to come in, okay? Now, listen to this. What
He's
count?
more interesting. He's a better debater, and he's more respectful. But that's why I wanted him to come in. But yeah, please go.
Anyways, so what is the counting method that we use to count there is 3 books? So if I was to say to you, Stephen, hey, Stephen, can you pass me 3 Qurans down there? I mean, can you pass me 1 Quran down there? How many Qurans would you bring?
3. 1. Wait, if you said to me, can you pass me 3 Qurans?
I said 1 Quran.
1 Quran. I bring you 1 Quran.
You bring me 1 Quran. If I said to you, bring me 3 Qurans, how
3
much would you bring?
Qurans, 3 Qurans.
3 Qurans. And what counting method did you use to bring me the 3 Qurans? Did you count by the universal or the essence, or did you count by the particular?
I count by the particular.
Beautiful. All right. And now we are 1 human nature, 2 individual humans. If these guys are 1, 2, 3, 3 males here. If I was to say to Stephen, how many males are here right now? Would you say there is 1 male or 3 males?
3 males.
Beautiful, because we counted by the particular. So everything that we use, or everything we count in our day-to-day life, is by counting by the particular. Now, if we were to follow that usual counting method when counting the Trinity, like how many gods there are, how many gods would there be?
Can I respond now? Okay, you actually going to give me time, or are you just going to cut me off?
Go.
All right, let me
Simple
respond.
question.
So what I think is happening right here, I think it's the logical fallacy of false equivalency.
Are you going to answer the question?
Can you tell him to not talk for a minute? Can you literally say
don't-
nothing for 1 minute?
No,
Can I actually add some explanation?
Why are you diverting?
Can I explain?
Okay, go.
I'm trying to explain the ontology of God. He won't let me respond for more than 30 seconds.
You're talking-
He's trying to take a very.
You're talking about the
Let me
law.
finish.
You're talking about the laws of logic.
Let
The
me
Trinity doesn't even
Let me
apply to
finish.
that.
I'm not going to debate
Go.
you if you talk over me. If you don't let me talk, I gave you the
Go.
decency of letting you
Go,
talk.
finish.
You didn't
Go.
let me talk for 10 seconds.
Go cook yourself.
Everyone can see. Everyone can see that
Go.
you're not letting me talk.
Go.
Okay. So
Everyone can see you're not answering the question.
Bro,
Go.
you've given me 10 seconds. I'm explaining. Okay, let me just get this straight. This man right here, Dean, he's trying to get me to explain the ontology of God. And if I take more than 10 seconds in my response, he cuts me off. Do you guys see how disingenuous that is? Did you watch me? Do you all watch me?
So everyone saw
Let him
it.
finish. I played his
Everyone
game,
saw it. Go answer
3
the question.
Qurans. Then
He's
he
not
just
gonna
cuts
answer
me
it.
off. And you know what that is? He knows that a complicated topic like this cannot be discussed in
Guys,
sentence.
one book.
So now I'm going to respond.
Go.
Now I'm going to respond. It's a false equivalence. God is not like books.
Wait, hold up.
Let
No.
Let me finish. Are you serious?
What was
I'm
my
gonna give you one more
what was my
chance.
question?
I'm going to give you
What was
one more
my
chance.
question?
How would you count the particulars of God if
I
that's
did
where
not
you
say
count
that.
the particulars of books?
You didn't even know the question I asked.
What did you say?
I said, if we were to count the Trinity, what counting method would we use, or how many gods would we count if we followed the usual counting method? That
Yeah,
was
that's
my
what I'm
question.
saying. So like, if we apply
Answer
the
it.
same counting method,
Go.
Bro,
How
I'm
many?
trying.
Go.
Okay, look, I'm gonna give you one more chance, bro. I'm gonna
You're not gonna
respond.
answer it. Go.
If you don't, if you don't stop cutting me off, then I'm gonna find a new conversation.
Go.
All right?
You want to find a new
And
conversation.
everyone know, I'm not running. I'm more than happy to sit here. I'm more than happy to debate back
Okay,
and forth.
sure. Answer.
But he needs to not cut me off every 30 seconds. All right? Does that sound fair? I think every reasonable person in the audience would think that's fair. So, Dean, to answer your question, I think it's a false equivalence. Using the example of books, 3 separate books, is completely different when you're talking about the ontology of God. God is 3 distinct persons with 1 shared essence, right? That is who God is. I think it's a false equivalence to say that because you've got 3 separate books, right? The books are separate. Each member of the Trinity is not separate. They share a divine essence. Let me finish. They're distinct. They're not separate. I'm not committing any Trinitarian heresies here. We believe they are distinct. We do not believe they're separable. We do not believe, as Christians, that you can take the Father and just have the Son and the Spirit. We do not believe that you can do that. So to answer your question, I think it's a false equivalency. I don't think the same method we use to apply to count books can apply to God himself. I don't believe that.
Okay, thank you.
That's my answer.
Thank you very much. You just clearly showed everyone you didn't even understand my question. I'm not comparing these books to your God.
I'm saying
asking
your
you
method's inappropriate. I'm saying
No, it's not. Ready? Can I finish?
I believe it is.
I'm just asking you if we were to follow the usual counting method that we use in everyday day-to-day life. You know, we count everything by the person, or the particular, rather than the essence. Everything has an essence.
I would say that if we had 3 separate essences, then that would be
finish?
3 gods. But okay, all right, finish.
So sorry, what was that?
Finish.
I didn't hear you.
Do you want me to repeat now, or do you want to finish?
What was
You
that
just
last
asked to
part?
Finish.
Because you cut me off and you said something.
I said if we believed that there were 3 separate essences, right? 3 separate gods, then I believe that would be polytheism. We don't believe that. We believe there's 1 divine essence shared by 3 distinct persons, not separable persons. That's why I don't believe it's polytheism. Do you want to answer?
You didn't answer it still. You agree that the Trinity consists of an essence and 3 persons, right?
Yes.
This book consists of what? An essence and persons, right? Persons is particular.
I don't think the books are 3 persons. You just said 3 persons. I don't believe that.
Do you know what is person? Person is
let
who-ness.
me
We defined it in the beginning.
I'm happy to answer. What you're doing is you're using language in a very, very strange way.
Okay.
When we talk about the persons of God, right? Christians have discussed in what sense God is 3 for millennia. So when you're saying that God is 3 persons, to say that the books are 3 distinct objects, that doesn't translate to the ontology of God. I don't believe that at all. That's a complete straw man. No one believes that. I think your argument doesn't work.
Okay.
I think it's a false equivalence.
Sure.
That's my answer.
I'll make it very, very simple for you because clearly
I don't need it to be simple.
You need to do some more research on
what I'm
this.
saying. You're not picking up what I'm
Okay,
saying.
ready? God consists of 1 whatness and 3 whonesses.
Yes, I agree with that.
This book-
Explain how that's polytheism now.
Okay, ready? And this book consists of how many whatnesses? 1. How many books are here? What is this? A book? It's
But the
one
book's
book.
not a person. And the word
We're not-
person, the
just-
kind of language we
Bro,
use-
everyone's gonna laugh at this guy online, bro.
Okay, well, I'm gonna upload it too, bro. So we'll see. We'll see what the audience thinks. I'm gonna upload the whole thing. I'm not gonna clip
Listen,
it. Let me just.
Steven, you're panicking right now.
I'm
just
not
chill.
panicking, bro.
Just chill.
You say what you want to say.
How many witnesses are here?
Guys, we've been through this. You're just boring the audience. bro.
One
People are gonna
witness?
click off.
How many
People are
human-
gonna
how
click
many
off.
human- how many
I told
human-
you, bro, I don't think that the book is a good illustration of God.
No, listen.
So I'm happy to talk to you about how there's 3 books and there's 1 what makes a book, that's fine. We can talk about that all day.
Okay.
But I don't think that translates to God.
Okay, sure.
So how do we move past that? I'm saying, give me another argument.
Okay, sure.
Give me something interesting. Don't be a one-trick pony. I've responded to the
no,
question.
you're not
Come
answering.
on.
Listen,
Come on.
So three whonesses, right?
No.
There's three whonesses here,
book
bro.
is not a who.
Individuals.
A book is not a who.
Three individuals.
The book is not a who.
Three individuals?
No, it's a false equivalency. That's my answer. I think it's a false equivalency. I think it's a really terrible argument. I think you're a one-trick pony. Your arguments aren't that good. Do you know what a false equivalence is? Can you define a false equivalence?
Let's
Can
bring
you define a false equivalence?
A false equivalence is equivocating two things that are not alike.
That is actually true, and that is exactly what he's
listen to
doing.
this.
He's showing me 3 books.
Are
you
you okay in the head? You're actually not hearing yourself. Like your God consists of a who-ness and a what-ness. This consists of a who-ness and a what-ness. Everything consists.
How does a book exist of a who-ness? Explain it.
Okay, what is a who-ness? What?
Explain it. You explain it to me. You're the one using the term.
An individual. That's all it is, bro. A who-ness, what it is, an individual.
No. When we talk about who in the same way that we're talking, we're talking about God and who God is, that is not the same as talking about.
I'll give you the definition.
That's ridiculous. I don't believe that for a second. That's my position. I mean, you can go backwards and forwards about it all day. I don't believe that. And bro, the Trinity, like this should be your bread and butter. You should be able to go beyond this. Explain to me exactly how. You don't need to Google it. They're trying to catch Christians out. I didn't prepare for a debate on the Trinity, and I think it's embarrassing. I've come here, I haven't prepared for a debate on the Trinity, and you're still getting cooked.
Okay.
Like you can't explain how that...
Definitely cooked me when you said this was one book before.
Make that make sense. How the book is like God. How Christians are using the word who with God the same way that we're talking about 3 separate books. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Okay.
It's one of the worst arguments I've ever heard.
Trinity,
like, bro,
listen,
it's so bad.
Trinity consists of 3
I let him choose. One more thing. I let him choose the debate. This is his best
fine.
work.
Like you came to my friend. Like you came to my friend last time, and you chose the debate, right?
Did that cook you, by the way, when he said that there were different Qurans with different words?
Don't change topic. He wasn't changed topic.
Most of you guys didn't admit that. He admitted that the Qurans have different words. That was interesting.
Sure.
Upload that. I need to get the next YouTube channel up. I'm a busy guy, but I'm working on it.
How many particulars?
Bro, we've been through this.
No.
Everyone's seen this. I've responded to how many particulars. I've done the thing.
1 or 3. 1 or 3.
Bro, again, define particular.
Particular is an individual of essence.
An individual essence?
Yeah, one book essence. And how many individuals are there?
There's one book essence.
One book nature, beautiful. One book nature.
I guess, I haven't really thought about it, but I guess it's one thing.
Okay, so we count by the particular.
There's 3 separate books, and that doesn't mean that there are 3 separate gods because it's a completely different example. It's a false equivalence. That's my answer. Now go beyond it.
So you agree?
Please, bro, I'm going to walk off. Go beyond it.
Because you're running. Because listen, so would you agree? Would you agree with me that we count everything in this day-to-day life by the particular, right?
Would I agree that we count everything in the entire world by the particular? I don't know if I would agree with that. I haven't thought about it. Do we count everything in the world by a particular? Do I look at this curve and do I think about individual blocks, or do I think about the curve? Okay. I don't know. I actually that's actually an interesting metaphysical question, but I don't know. I can't answer that.
Tell me.
So I would say no. Probably no.
Wow, that's crazy. Tell me, in what situation would we count something by the essence? Go.
In what situation would we count something by the essence? How about in Christian theology when we talk about God? That's a perfect example.
But first we need to establish that we count everything by the particular.
No, we don't. I don't agree.
Give me an example. Besides God. Besides God Trinity.
Bro, I just gave you the example of the curve. I just gave you the example of the curve. When I say I'm walking up the curve, am I counting particular blocks, or am I walking up the curve? There's one curve.
Yeah.
And so you're counting
essence, one particular.
But what about this? So is each one of these a particular?
That's a brick, mate.
Yeah. Is it a particular, or is it? This is your metaphysics.
What are you talking about right now?
I'm trying to answer your question. I don't think we count everything by particulars. I don't believe that.
Actually, think. Give me an example.
I literally just gave him the example of the curve. Are you guys seeing this? I literally just gave it. Please make sure this is recording, bro. I can't wait to upload this. I just gave him an example, everyone. How about that building?
He actually doesn't know what he's talking about.
The building in the shot. When I talk about state library, am I talking about individual blocks, or am I talking about the state library?
No one knows what you're talking about. I'm going to answer that. No one knows what you're talking about, bro. No one knows what you're talking about.
I think everyone knows what I'm talking about.
You don't even know, bro.
Or is it a particular brick?
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Maybe you're bad at explaining it. Can you explain it better?
So if I was to say to you, bring me 1 Quran, you could bring me how many Qurans?
1 Quran.
1 Quran because you counted by the particular, correct? So everything that we know of is counted by the particular.
I don't agree with that. Like the way that you're defining it, like explain, make this make sense to me.
Let me give you a definition.
If I said to you, are you going to the state library? Am I talking about a specific brick? Am I talking about it as a concept? Language is very complicated. I actually
here's a
don't
definition
think-
for you.
Let me just finish.
Yeah.
I don't think you've actually got a good hold on how language works and how language operates. So I think what you're doing is you're probably listening to YouTube videos where a Muslim uses this argument and you think you're going to sound really clever, but I don't think you've actually read a book on metaphysics.
Okay,
I don't think
okay,
you
listen.
actually understand
No,
how
this is
language
basic.
works.
You don't need to-
Let me finish. I don't think you understand how language works. I don't think you
water?
understand how philosophy works. And this is your pre-prepared argument, bro, and I just don't think it's very good.
Okay. See this state library, yeah? How many state library essences are there?
How many essences of the state library? That's an
This
interesting
one right
question.
here.
Do you think it's all state libraries have a common essence?
So this state library right here, how many essences does it have?
I don't know. How many essences do you think it has?
No, I'm asking you. Don't
I don't
go
know.
throw the question back at me. It's one.
I haven't thought about it. So does every state library have its own
It's
essence?
Melbourne State Library we're talking about.
So you think Melbourne State Library has...
But if we're talking about state
you think
libraries-
it has a particular essence compared to other state
Yes.
libraries?
Okay. So, if we're talking
I
about,
don't believe that.
If we're talking about multiple state libraries, if we're generalizing that, they share one state library essence, and this would be a particular, an individual of the essence. Do you get it now?
I don't know.
You don't
that-
want-
I don't know that I agree with you, but like maybe follow out your argument. I'm more than happy to listen to it. If
Okay.
it's good, I'll respond to it. Bro.
Okay. For example, so multiple libraries. Okay. We have 5 libraries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. How many library essences does it share?
How many library essences does the library share? Yeah, I'd probably say 1.
I'll give you a proper example because maybe you don't even know the definition. All right, a universal is a shared property.
He's got his
Of
notes.
course, this is ages ago. This is a long time ago I had this.
He's got his notes.
I studied.
You know what? Next time.
Respectfully, you cannot talk. Come with your big blinder last week.
All right, yeah, no,
Forgot
no,
Yeah, true.
Don't
Come on, bro.
You know
Don't.
why I did that? Wait, you know
And
why
plus,
I
you
did
cut
that?
me off. You just cut me off.
Let me finish. The reason I did that was because I brought scholarly quotes. Yeah, to support
Don't let him
my
run.
position.
Don't let him run. Don't let him
To
run.
support my position.
These are not. This is just
So that's why I did
definitions.
that.
This is just definitions.
All right, that's fine. Go.
Ready? Tell me if you agree with this. A universal is a shared property or nature that can exist in multiple things at once.
To be
True.
honest, bro, I haven't thought about it, but I'm more than happy to debate it with you.
This is
Like,
what your trinity consists of, bro. An essence, bro. It's just a
I
different.
thought about what an essence
It's
is.
just
I
a
think an
different.
essence is.
It's a different definition
An
for
essence
essence.
is what makes
Different word.
something what it is. I agree with that.
Okay.
But then you asked me about particulars. I haven't thought about particulars.
So basically, you debunked yourself just before. All right.
How?
You debunked yourself before because you
How?
said we count by the essence of the state libraries, all the state libraries.
Well,
we don't.
no, the point
We
I was
count by the
making is that
particular.
language is really complicated, which is why defining
Oh,
terms
well,
is
I'll tell
important.
you, because you're going to see when you go home, you do not count anything by the essence, okay? Now, because if I said to you, bring me a watermelon, you're not going to bring me all the watermelons. You're going to bring me one watermelon. You're not going to bring the essence of watermelon. You're going to bring a particular
I
of a
get your
watermelon.
argument. Can you finish so I can respond?
Okay, now that we've established that we count everything by the particular, all right, the particular, and your trinity consists of particulars. If we were to count how many gods are in the trinity using the usual counting method, how many gods would we count? It's so simple.
Why do I have to respond with the usual count? Firstly, I'm not convinced that's the usual counting method, as I've spoken. I can go home, I can do research, I'm not convinced that that's the usual counting method.
And you've got to find out it is.
Secondly, if that is the usual counting method, I don't know why you would apply it to God. God who exists outside of time and space and everything like that. I would let God's revelation define to me that he is one. The Bible is clearly monotheistic, and the Bible clearly teaches us that there are 3 distinct persons. Are you listening?
No, I'm listening. Yeah. You go.
So according to...
Answer the question. I'm still waiting.
If I don't believe you have to, I don't believe.
don't-
Let me.
you-
I'm going to answer the question specifically, bro. Listen, I don't believe that your counting method that you've just described is what I should apply to God. You haven't made a good enough case for it. Maybe if you can make a better case, I'll think about it a bit more. But that I don't believe I have to apply that counting method to God. I don't know if that's true. To be honest, you don't sound that philosophically advanced. I don't know if you're even correct about that kind of stuff. I'm happy to go home and learn and read some more metaphysics and like come back and we can chat about it more. But you haven't demonstrated to me that I have to use that counting method when I'm thinking about God. So can you do a better job of explaining why I use that counting method when applying to God? Even if hypothetically...
Okay, look at
even
this,
if
guys.
hypothetically
Debunked in
it's
2
true.
seconds. I want you to read
Even
that.
if
read it.
using ChatGPT,
Yeah,
bro.
where do you go to any source?
This is where you get your...
Yeah, sure. Already?
Bro,
this
I'm
is it.
sorry, bro.
Go,
You're
go.
using
Where do you want me to go? Ready? Guys, oh, focus it. Focus it on the camera. All right. So I searched. Is it on the camera?
We're still going to chat off.
Debunk, bro, right here. What is the usual counting method we use? Do we count by essence or particular? In everyday life, we usually count by particular.
Everyday life. We're
Yeah,
talking about
every-
the ontology
listen,
of God.
listen.
This guy thinks that because
Do atheists
we
believe in
use
God?
this
Do atheists believe in
everyday
God?
life,
Do atheists
we use
believe in
this
God?
everyday life, and it should apply to the Trinitarian
Sure,
God.
sure,
That's
sure,
the
sure.
most
Okay,
ridiculous
sure.
thing ever.
Okay, sure.
And he can't even justify it. He's
Do
pre-prepared
you believe in the
this
church?
argument.
Do you believe in the church
He's
fathers?
prepared
You believe in the
this-
church?
He's
Well,
pre-prepared
hey.
this argument, and he can't justify it.
Oh, Greg, you're
This
Niso,
is your
yeah?
argument, bro. Justify
Do
it.
you-
Justify it.
okay, ready?
Justify it. He's showing
It's
you
cooked himself. What?
ChatGPT, bro.
Already?
It's over.
Okay, find me anything on the internet where it says we count by the essence.
Bro, you're showing
guy's
me
embarrassing himself.
ChatGPT.
In everyday life, we usually count by particulars, not by essence.
Oh, bro, in
What does,
everyday life. It
what
literally
does
said
particular
everyday
mean?
life.
Particulars are individual concrete things. Essences are abstract, like appleness. So we do not ever count by the essence. And this guy's gonna go home and he's
Wait,
not.
wait, wait,
he's-
let me
can I
pull
finish?
up
Don't
on
cut me
that.
off.
Okay, finish. Hurry up,
This
hurry
guy's gonna go home. He's not gonna find a single source. I'll give him $1 billion. He will not find a single source that says we count by the essence.
Are you done?
Done.
Okay.
Finished.
So what's so interesting about that? Keep that on.
How about
Wait,
okay.
bro, I just let
Okay,
you
go,
finish,
go,
bro.
go.
Let me finish.
Go.
What's so interesting about that is even
Finish.
ChatGPT, and I'm sorry, bro, you pulled up ChatGPT as a source in debate. It's a little funny. I'm not
Okay.
trying to be
No,
rude.
it's not a
I'm not
source.
trying to be rude.
It's not a source. He didn't use it as a source.
Well, what's he
He asked
using
him,
it?
he
He's using it to
basically-
support his argument.
No, he's using it to explain because he couldn't comprehend the logic.
But he couldn't explain it to me on.
He
why
did,
couldn't
but he didn't
explain it?
understand.
Well, I
You don't
do
understand. I told
understand
you.
your argument. Let
I
me
told
finish,
you.
let me finish.
It's
Let me
finished.
finish. So, he's brought up ChatGPT as a source, right? To try and say that we count by particulars in everyday life. That does not mean that when I'm talking about the ontology of our Trinitarian God, that I have to count by particulars in a narrow sense the way that he has defined it. And then we get three separate gods. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Beautiful.
Let me finish. And the fact that this is his pre-prepared argument, he's trying to catch a Christian off. Next time when I come prepared and I've got all my terminology and metaphysics figured out, I cannot wait, bro. Will you be here? Will you debate me again?
Beautiful,
Because
yep.
I had no preparation.
Sure.
And I'm still
You don't need to be
thinking, like,
prepared for
makes
this.
No sense.
This is
makes
basic.
no sense.
I'll give you the
Why?
easiest question.
So answer my question. I've answered your question, now answer mine. I haven't even got to ask him a question.
No,
I
no,
wanna ask you a question.
don't run. Don't run.
I'm asking you a question. It's
No,
related. It's related.
Don't run,
It's
bro.
related.
No,
It's
don't run.
related.
Don't run.
So the
Don't run.
question I have
You didn't even
is-
answer
the
my
question-
question. You didn't even answer my
the
question.
I
Just come back.
did.
Answer my
I
question
just
at
did.
least.
I just did. I said
No.
we don't count. I'm not. No, I refuse. We do not. We do
No,
not.
he'll count three gods.
We do not treat God the same way we treat things in everyday life. That's my response. People at home, you can decide. Did I answer the question? Did I not answer the question? This guy is making me. He's trying to force me to use
Listen.
his definition of particulars, which even ChatGPT says in everyday life. you
My
count
definition
things-
of particulars-
You count things.
I just gave him.
You count
Keep
things
talking.
by particulars. That's what ChatGPT
I just gave him a definition of particulars and he agreed to
When
it.
we're talking about
Would you agree with this definition I'm about to give? It's a very simple definition. A particular or a person is the who-ness of something.
a particular or a person is the who-ness.
So the essence is the whatness. The person or the particular is the who-ness.
I do agree with that.
Beautiful.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
Now it's my definition.
When we're talking about the ontology of God, can you prove to me that I need to count according to particulars? Now, what's your response? Prove to me I need to use that same methodology when I'm talking about the nature of God.
Do you want me to
Do it.
answer that?
Yes.
Okay. We need to use this usual counting method
Why?
when counting gods because this is the usual counting methods that humans follow.
We need to
We
use
never
it because
ever
we
count
use
by the
it.
essence.
We need to use it because
We never
Bro,
count by the essence.
Please, guys, come to my church. We do free courses on critical thinking. You can come learn about
Okay,
logical
sure.
fallacies. I'm not even trying to be rude, bro. You can literally come learn about how ridiculous that is. You're just begging the question. You're just saying the same thing again. You're saying we need to do this because that's what we do. I'm saying, why do we need to do that related to God? You're not answering the question.
Name the three
Yes.
laws of logic. Go.
Bro.
laws of
like
logic.
the law of non-contradiction. There are other ones.
Go.
But
No,
right now,
answer
look, he's
it. No,
running.
you talk
No.
about logic in your church.
He's
Name
running.
the three laws of logic.
He's running. I just
No,
gave
you
you
can't
one.
answer it.
He's running.
Name the
He's
three
running.
laws of
He's running.
logic.
He's running.
Name the
He's
three
running.
laws of
He's running.
logic.
He's running.
Name the
He's
three
running.
laws of
He's running.
logic.
He's running. Would you be able to answer every single question that I could ask you about every logical fallacy, every bias? No, you wouldn't.
Steve,
Let me
Steve.
finish.
You talk about logic in your church. No, you talk about logic in your church. Name the three laws of
Let me
logic.
finish.
You can't.
Let me finish.
You can't. You don't even know the three laws of logic. That's
I just gave you
embarrassing.
one. I'm gonna learn
He
more.
can't even answer
Let me
it.
finish. The fact of the matter,
I can answer it like that. Bop, bop, bop. He can't.
cannot.
Answer the three. What are the three laws? Three laws of logic.
I can't. I just told you.
Three laws of logic, bro.
Dude.
No, you told me I'm not
you're
following.
running.
No, you told me. No,
You're
listen.
running.
No, you're telling me I'm not
Let me
following.
finish.
Oh, you're telling me I'm not following logic, and you teach logic.
I said
name the three laws of logic.
I said you used a logical fallacy. That's what I said. Everyone can see this, bro. Everyone can see. I said you used a logical fallacy.
Go.
Actually, you've used two. The first logical fallacy you used was the false equivalency, and now you're assuming your argument. We need to count God's nature.
Stephen.
We need to count God's
Chill.
nature according to particulars.
Okay, Stephen.
Because we count everything on earth according to particulars.
Stephen.
And I'm saying to you,
Stephen.
present me an argument.
Stephen, bro.
Present me an argument that
Get that on his face.
I need to use particulars when speaking about God, and you can't.
Stephen.
You can't answer the question.
Okay, Stephen.
Answer the question.
What are the three
Make it-
laws of logic?
He can't.
You can't answer it. Will you admit you don't know the three laws of logic? I can teach it.
I don't know the three laws of logic.
But you teach
Listen,
logic
bro,
in your
listen.
but you
I
teach
didn't
you
say I
teach logic
teach
in
it.
your
I didn't say I
church.
teach
You said
it.
come to my
I
church
didn't say I
and
teach
we
it.
break
No,
down logic and we teach
listen,
logic.
listen. My pastor,
You don't even know the laws
who
of
has
logic,
a
bro.
PhD in philosophy, does teach at our church. That doesn't mean I understand every philosophical argument, every dimension. But what I can do is identify logical fallacies as they're occurring through my friend here, who's reading from ChatGPT
Okay.
with
What's
his
the logic?
pre-prepared
What's the lo-
arguments.
alright.
Bro, I just told you I can't.
What's the
I can't.
logical
I
fallacy?
just told you.
What's the logical fallacy I'm going through right now?
Which one? When you're saying...
Any,
when
just
you-
name one. Name
what
one
you're
logical
doing
fallacy
is-
I'm not
I am,
following
bro.
right. Go.
It's okay, bro. I
Go.
know this is embarrassing.
It's
didn't go the
okay.
way
You don't
thought
even
it
know
was
the
gonna
laws
go.
of logic. Go.
It's okay, bro. It's okay. To answer your question, you're just making the same argument. So you're saying we count everything according to particulars, even though ChatGPT says normally, right? So we'll leave that aside. And then I'm saying, well, why do we have to do that with God? And you're saying because we do that in everyday life. Is that not what you're saying? Can you explain to me why I have to count the
I'll give you
person
an
of
answer.
God the same way that I do in day-to-day life?
I'll
Why
answer.
would that apply
You answer?
to the metaphysics, like God's ontology? Can you explain that?
Beautiful. Some if I got the question right. He's asking me, why do we have to count the nature or the trinity by the particular? Is that true?
Yeah, the same way that we do in
I'll
everyday
answer
life.
that.
Yeah,
I'll answer that. Because everything in this universe, including God's nature, which is the Trinity in his paradigm, consists of a universal and by a particular. And as humans, we count everything by the particular. And,
Okay,
so, and
I
this,
got
can
another
I finish?
argument.
Can I finish?
Okay, quick.
Okay? So as human beings, we count everything by the particular. And this does not exclude God. And for some reason, when it comes to the Trinity, all of a sudden they count by the essence or the universal, and they have no explanation on to why they do that.
Okay, I will look into this. I will look into why we insist on counting according to the... I don't know about this particular thing, right? But I will look into why we say three persons. I know why we say three persons in one essence, because we believe it's biblical, right? But to me, you're not demonstrating that there's three separate gods. Just by saying we count according to particulars, why can't I count that there are three distinct persons and one essence?
Now to the
Can you
answer.
explain that?
Now to the answer you never answered. The question you never
The
answered.
answer I never answered.
The question you never answered. All right.
Come on, bro.
Now, if we were to follow the usual counting method by counting by the particulars, how many gods would we count?
I've told you, I don't believe we have to.
No, you don't. Oh, sure, you don't have to believe it. Sure, I'm not saying you have to believe it, Stephen.
You're not going to get some clickbait
No.
moment, bro, because I
Stephen,
don't
you
believe
can't-
that we should apply that.
Don't be
Out of
scared.
reverence to my God, bro, I'm not just going to say, oh yeah, according to this random Muslim guy's definition who uses ChatGPT
This
on
is
the
not my-
street, I have to use this.
Do you want me to find a
particular
defini-
counting
do you want me to find a
method
definition
with
of
God.
particular
Out of
online?
reverence to my God, I'm not going to do that. So, do you have another question?
Okay. My definition of particular. Tell me if you agree with this definition of particular.
I don't know, because I don't know what the other definitions are.
It's a person.
I told you, but I haven't done the research.
Just tell me.
I haven't done the research. I'm going to
Hey,
go home.
okay, ready?
I will be prepared, and then I can give you
Ready.
a definition.
A particular is a specific individual thing that exists at one time and in one place. It is not shared. It is a concrete instance of something.
It is not.
This is not my definition of particular. It's not my definition.
You know what?
Essentially, relate this to the persons. Remember, I'll read it again. Just think about persons. A particular.
I'm trying to be good faith here, by the way. I'm really trying to
sure.
listen to this guy. Like, give
Just
me the
listen.
argument.
Because you keep saying it's my definition. My definition. It's not.
Well, is this ChatGPT?
No, it's
Who
not.
did you get this from then? Who's your
Online.
source?
I have to put URLs in my definition.
Well, I like sources, bro, because I
But
can
tell
go
me if
read
you
it
agree. Tell me if
myself.
you agree, though.
Okay,
Alright.
well, hurry up, bro. Come on.
I'm not. A particular is a specific individual thing that exists at one time and in one place. It is not shared. It is a concrete instance of something. It is not shared. It exists at one point in one place in time.
How does that? I don't understand how you would apply that to God. I just genuinely don't. I don't understand
Ready?
how that
Okay, ready?
definition applies to God.
We'll apply it to the sun. Ready? A sun is a particular, all right, or a person. Ready? Does the sun exist at one time and in one place. It is not shared. It is not. It is not the. It is. Can I finish? The Son is not the Father.
Yes.
The Son is not the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. That just summed up the definition right there. They are not each other. They are not shared. That's what a particular are. These books are not shared. They're individuals. Make sense? So now, if we were to follow that usual counting method by counting by the particular, how many gods would we count?
Three persons. There wouldn't be three separate gods.
No, how many?
Explain to me why I can't say that counting by the particular there are three persons. Explain to me why it has to be three separate gods. That's how this discussion's going to evolve.
Okay, ready?
We've been on this point for 10 minutes.
Beautiful. All right, human nature.
Everyone
Hold up.
Like
Ready? Okay,
not
ready?
answering the question. You think you've got me? You're not answering the question.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go, bro. Come on.
Essence. One human essences. Two human beings. One God essence. Three God essences of particulars.
God's not like us, bro.
Wait, tell me that's
two separate persons. We are two separate
Oh, is that a
people.
false
I agree with
equivalence?
that. No.
What I did, is that a false equivalence?
It is a false
Explain the
equivalence.
camera how that's a false
Okay,
equivalence.
I'm about to, bro. I'm about to. Do you want me to explain to the
Oh, no,
camera or are
because
you going to speak?
they're not going to say, they're not going to hear my
And then
point.
I'll explain. Go, quickly.
I want you to explain to the camera how I'm using a false equivalence.
Okay, I will.
Wait,
Okay, I will.
wait,
Okay, I
I'm
will.
finished. When I'm comparing essences and particulars to essences and particulars.
No, what you're doing is you're comparing people and books to God.
No.
That's what you're doing.
It's
You're
essences and
comparing
you don't understand the conversation. You can review this when you go. I'm comparing essences, one human essence, to one God essence. Particulars, two human particulars, to the three particulars over there. That's all I'm comparing. Essences, particulars. Essences, particulars. It's not a false equivalence. Explain that.
When human beings talk about persons, right? Think about like me and what's it, Dean? Is it Dean? Yeah, me and Dean, right? Are two separate people. Just because we share a nature doesn't mean that we are the same person. God is not like that. God does share a divine essence. And God is three persons, but these are just human terms that we're using to describe God. The language of person isn't a perfect explanation of God. That's like Christians don't believe that. We don't believe that by calling God a person, He is like people in every single way. Right? We're just using finite language to describe an infinite God. And so what He's doing is He's saying, we're two separate people. There are these three separate books. If you apply that counting methodology to God, why aren't there three separate gods? And what I'm saying is because based on our definition, there is one God, there's one being in the universe with the divine essence to make him who he is. One being. Then there are three persons that share equally in that divine essence and they're co-equal and co-eternal. So you're not explaining to me why, when I'm applying that method, that I can say
Still won't
there's
answer
three
the question.
persons.
Still doesn't answer the question.
I don't understand. Hey, can you explain how I'm not answering the question? I genuinely don't understand.
So swear to God you don't understand.
We're not allowed to swear to God.
Okay, sure.
Are you guys allowed to swear to God?
Okay, listen.
We don't swear by anything on heaven or earth.
Okay, sure, yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah, I know. Because Jesus said so, right?
Yeah, well then
Now
why'd you
listen.
ask me to do it?
I don't know, I've just asked you. See if you're a good Christian, right? Now
Yeah,
listen.
I'm a good Christian.
Oh, very good. That's nice, alright? Now, Stephen, we understand that we count everything by the particular, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, if we were to follow that usual, because there's only two counting methods of counting. Ready? Counting by the essence and the particular. No, listen, because you don't understand. You just said you don't understand. I'm explaining it to
I'm
you.
getting bored.
No, you just want to run. You just want to run. You didn't even. This is my first question you haven't answered.
Dude,
Ready?
we've exhausted this. It's getting
Sure.
to the point where it's boring. Like,
Go, listen. Then answer it then. This is your last chance of answering.
quickly.
Just give me a simple answer. We count everything by the particular. Now, if we were to use
I
that,
don't believe we count everything by the particular. That's our disagreement.
Stephen, we understand that we count everything by the particular, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. That's our disagreement. I'm saying we don't need to count God according to your definition. And then you're just saying it again like we've evolved past that. You haven't demonstrated to me that I need to count God by the particulars as you've defined it. Or it's not that hard.
I want you to
go beyond it. Go beyond it. Give me something else. Give me something beyond your
I want you to
notes and your ChatGPT.
Listen.
Give me an argument for why I need to count God the same way. Bro, you've had this
listen. I want you to embarrass. Okay, Stephen. You sure I'm embarrassing myself? Stephen, I want you to embarrass yourself online right now. Say we do not count. Besides the Trinity, tell the camera we do not count everything in this world by the particular. Tell him right now.
I didn't say that we don't count.
Tell him.
I never said that.
We count everything by the particular. Now, if we were to use that,
I don't believe we count everything by the particular. I don't believe we count everything by the particular. I never said that. What I said is you haven't adequately demonstrated that I need to apply that to God, who exists outside of space-time. Are you guys all seeing this? Like, bro, like, it's embarrassing.
This guy's low IQ, bro. Oh my days.
We'll see what the people on the internet think, brother, because I'm going to break this down. And
you didn't even know
we're gonna get past
you teach law. You teach logic
I told you,
in your church. You don't even know the 3 laws of logic.
I don't teach laws of logic. My pastor, who's got a PhD in philosophy, teaches the laws of logic. So let me make that really clear. I'm not a perfect. I don't have a PhD in philosophy. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. But look, bro, at the end of the day, I'm here. I'm having a conversation, trying to have it in good faith. And my friend here, you haven't demonstrated that to me. I still hold to the biblical Trinitarian definition.
He said he's getting bored. I haven't demonstrated to him. Let's demonstrate it.
He hasn't demonstrated to me that I need to count God by this particular definition that he's given to me, and he can't demonstrate it. Because I keep on asking him how, and he just keeps on saying you're not answering the question.
I keep answering.
An argument that shows me I have to count God the same way I count books, and he can't.
Oh, I'm saying you don't have to believe in it. You don't have to believe there's 3 gods.
Come on, bro, please. I'm begging you, bro. Like, make an argument.
I'm not saying you have to believe in 3 gods. I hope you understand that.
Bro, you got...
But I'm just saying, if we were to count by the particulars, how many gods would we say there are?
Bro, I don't
just
believe...
answer it.
I've answered your question. I don't believe...
1 or 3?
Just because I'm not answering
1 or 3?
No. That's, he's trying to force me into a...
You don't have to believe, bro.
You don't have to believe it, bro.
No.
It's such a simple question, bro.
Bro, you gotta understand. We're talking about the ontology of my God, right? You're Muslim. Surely you understand. I don't care hypothetically. My loyalty is to Jesus Christ, right? I worship Jesus Christ.
And you don't know anything about the church fathers.
He's not going to get me to force into some weird hypothetical when I'm not convinced that I should talk about God this way out of reverence. You guys can say, oh, he got cooked, whatever. I'm asking you to give me a good argument for why I should count God that way, or the discussion's over.
I already told you.
No.
There is nothing in this universe that we count by the essence. That's literally it, bro. So tell me why we have to count God by the essence.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's nothing in the universe.
Give me something, bro.
Well,
Google it. I'll give you 5 minutes to find something. Because you won't find anything on camera.
Look, bro. On YouTube, like, subscribe.
We're just gonna bleep that out.
Well, you gotta upload the whole thing. It's going to be launched soon. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll have many more encouraging debates. It is good. I do like you guys.
How many particle tripods?
I do appreciate it.
See these tripods? Stephen.
I'm happy to talk to you too. Do you want to come question?
It's running.
On this topic.
It's running.
You said how many persons are in the Trinity?
Are you asking me how many persons are in the Trinity? All right, let's do a new
No, he wants to run. Don't let him run, Rami. Rami, don't let him run. Don't let him run.
Quick question.
There are 3 persons.
What counting method did you use there? The conventional.
You understood what I was saying, yeah?
Of course, I know that.
Yeah,
You
doesn't want to
conventional
understand.
method to count 3.
To be honest with you, I have never sat down and thought about what method of counting I use when I'm discussing the
I
persons
know,
of God.
but what method did you use to count 3 persons in the Trinity?
What method?
The conventional method.
To be honest,
Every day, the traditional method.
To be honest with you, I haven't thought about my methodology. I believe in the Trinity because I believe it's revealed in the Bible. And
So the question is, why apply the traditional, conventional method of counting in 3 persons in the Trinity, but then when it comes to saying that the 3 persons are one God, you want to use a different method of counting?
different counting method. Yeah, that's an interesting. That's a much better explanation. I can answer that question. It's because we believe God is different. God is not 3 in the same way that He's 1. So if we're counting what makes God who He is, right? We count that there's one God. There's only one being in the universe with the divine attributes that make God who He is. With the deity, eternality, omniscience.
That's where we disagree with you. Everything in the universe uses the same conventional method of counting. There is no example, you know?
But then why? So if I'm using, say I'm using that traditional method of counting for the sake of argument, right? And I say that there is one God. I define, this is much better though. I define God as the only being in the universe that possesses the divine attributes, right? That's like my Christian definition. But then you ask me about what that looks like, right? Who is God? And then I talk about 3 persons because it's a separate category. That's my answer. So I can go home and I can find out my metaphysics. I can open up Bavink and we can chat more about it. But that's my answer.
And when you find out I'm right, are you going to apologize?
I heard you say earlier that the 3 persons are co-equal and co-eternal.
Yes.
Right? So is the Son begotten?
That's a really good question. What does begotten mean? That's actually a really good question.
What does begotten mean? Begotten in the conventional understanding.
I want to talk to you.
I want to just explain what I understand from begotten. Begotten one stage and then it came to existence. I'm talking about in the everyday life. If a child is begotten, that means it didn't exist and then it came to existence.
Yeah.
So you're going to say to me that the Son is eternally being begotten?
No,
that what you're
so
saying?
I can explain that. This is something I have looked into.
Yeah.
So, the language of begotten, it's interesting, right? Do you know the Greek word that it comes from?
Not really.
That's okay, bro. That's all right. I wouldn't know if you asked me the Arabic term, right? That's fair enough. It's monogenes, right? So the early church teach that Jesus Christ is eternally begotten. So begotten is, the word begotten explains the relationship between the Father and the Son, but it doesn't explain that Jesus Christ came into existence at a time. So the doctrine that you're referring to now is called eternal generation. So Christians have believed for a very long time that the person of the Son is eternally generated by the Father, but he never came into existence. One more thing. And we would say that the divine attributes, that Christ is God in and of himself, not in a way that is being communicated. His divinity is not being communicated to him by the Father.
Yeah, okay.
I believe that. I'm Protestant. I follow in the tradition of Calvinism. So let me just finish, because it's very relevant. It's very relevant. Right? So when you say to me, begotten, that doesn't mean that God is making, that the Father is making Jesus God. It doesn't mean that he came into existence at a particular time. We don't believe that. That's my answer.
Fine. But so now I want you to say that because they're co-equal, yeah, and we use the word begotten for the Son, can you say the Father is begotten?
No.
Well, how are they co-equal?
Because the idea that they're co-equal is referring to the fact that they both possess the divine attributes. Like Jesus is kind of less like God. He's not sort of God. He's fully God and fully man. We believe that.
He's less?
Maybe
No, he's not.
Okay, sure.
I'm just gonna wrap it up real quick. Now
Wait. I think we're being more productive. This is actually going to
because you don't want to answer this one, bro. We know.
I've answered it, guys. We've exhausted
Okay, sure.
it. Come on. He's gonna
After
answer the same thing,
because
right?
you haven't even answered it. You
Oh
haven't
my
answered it.
gosh.
Okay. So
Come on. Hurry up.
have you understood what particular is from his example? He said he explained it very well. So you must understand it now.
Well, he's saying, why are you not using the same counting method for the essence as the persons, right? That's what you're saying. And I'm saying they're separate categories. That's what I'm saying.
Separate categories.
We got it on camera, yeah.
And these categories, this is what your Trinity consists of.
What do you mean this is what the Trinity consists of?
Does the Trinity consist of an essence and a personhood?
Does the Trinity consist of... The Trinity consists
What do you
of
need to think
a
about
divine essence? I'm giving you a definition, bro. Like, what's... You're not a productive debater, and you're not a good polemicist. You're not a good polemicist either, bro, because you can't actually make arguments. You just come out here with your prepared arguments, and you don't even know what to say. You get heated, you lose, you stutter over your words. I want to speak to him. I think we've gone as far as this can go. I'm not running. I'm more than happy to keep talking about to another Muslim about the exact same topic. Because I'm not running anywhere. You can call this running, bro.
Did I ask for a definition, Stephen?
I'm done talking about the same conversations. I'm going to give you one more chance to ask me a new question that I haven't responded. He can't.
New question? You want a new question?
He can't. He doesn't know what the logical fallacies are. I never claimed to have a PhD in philosophy. And I would like to speak to the other Muslim now.
I don't know the logical fallacy. I'll give you a new question. Simple question.
I'm not going to be
Mr. Logic. Mr. Logic, name the three laws of logic. Name the three laws of logic. He's trying to get a little... Name one at least. Name one.
It's just not interesting. I told you the law of non-contradiction.
Oh, beautiful. So you can actually answer a question. Now...
See, look, he's trying to make me look stupid.
Name the other two. Name the other two.
You're literally...
Law of non-contradiction, what else?
Dean, my friend.
No.
At this point, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Outro.
I'm sorry, bro. I don't have to keep answering.
Can't answer it. He knows.
For the rest of
He knows if he was to follow the usual counting method, he would count 3 gods. Look at his face. Look at this guy. It's embarrassing.
Well,
Mr. Logic doesn't even know the 3 laws of logic.
On YouTube, follow
Bleep.
Apologetics Down Under.
This guy's giving himself a shout out and the mic's over here. Anyways. How embarrassing. Mr. Logic doesn't even know the laws of logic. And he knows if he was to count using the usual counting method, he would count 3 gods. How embarrassing. You know, all of a sudden when it comes to their God, the Trinity, they count by the essence. But he has no reason to count by the essence, unfortunately. What can I say? It's an embarrassment, honestly. I've never seen anyone run so hard in my life. You know? Jeez. Until next time. Is there anything else I can say? Yeah, this guy's talking about logic. The Trinity doesn't even follow the laws of logic. You can actually search it up online. It's a fact. The Trinity, that's why it always pleads to mystery. Alright? It pleads to mystery. Because it doesn't follow the 3 basic laws of logic. What can I say? Oh, embarrassing. Like, all he had to say was the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, and the law of excluded middle. All so hard of that. Those are the 3 laws of logic. And the Trinity doesn't even follow any of them. I don't know. Should I make a video on this? But I don't know. May Allah guide him. There's a lot of arrogance in his heart. I don't know what to say. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go to the... No, that's too late.
Hey, this one I brought some stuff for you. It's gonna melt down.
That's pretty bad.